If you want a clean looking setup that maximizes productivity, it's crucial to have well managed cables. In this video, I'll give you 5 tips to help you avoid some of the most common cable management mistakes. I strongly recommend planning everything out in advance. This prevents the need to redo everything later on. I found out that even when I plan out where my cable management will go, I still run into surprises. To start off, it's good to lock in your laptop or PC tower placement. This will be the main routing point for most of your cables, so this location is key. If you're using a laptop, I suggest using a USB-C hub to simplify connecting your laptop to your setup. Ideally, try to find one that has a power pass-through and multiple monitor inputs. The next main routing point is going to be your power source. Test out where your power will go and check if your cables will reach. This is especially important for your monitor power cables, getting from the back of your monitor all the way down to your power strip. Now, while we're looking at our monitors, check what kind of cable management they have, if any. Monitors are always a source of a lot of cables, so you want to plan how to get those cables from your monitor down to your computer and into your power source. Most monitor arms have some solution to route cables through them, but if they don't, you'll need to look into ties or sleeves to help hide these cables. Finally, take a close look at your desk and see where your biggest needs are, both horizontally and vertically. Once you identify these needs, it's time to think about what your budget's going to be. There's a way to manage cables at every budget, but it's nice to have it nailed down before you begin. I've made lots of vids to help you pick out products based on your budget, so you can check those out next. In the ideal scenario, the majority of your cables will be routed horizontally under your desk. I always like to get as many cables as possible bundled up underneath the bottom of my desk. This leaves only 1 or 2 cables going vertically down to my power or internet supply. So unless your situation forces you to route all your cables to the floor, plan on spending most of your budget getting cable management for this area. I recommend finding a product that will cover as much length as possible on your desk. This way you can route the cables down off the back of your desk into the cable management at any point. Your amount of cables and personal preferences will determine what kind of products to look at. For the $30 to $45 range, I recommend a set of steel cable management trays. I really like the functionality of the Pamo under-desk trays. Depending on your desk size, you can order either a set of 2 or 3 trays. If you'd like a nicer looking one-piece solution, I'd go with a cable taco from Humanscale or Upright Ergo. These mesh trays will give you a place to attach your power strip and hold your bundles of cables in place. If your budget allows for it, the ultimate setup would be to use the BTOD cable management box. No matter what products you go with, everyone could benefit from the Amazon $15 set. This set gives you tons of options to route and secure loose cables. Now let's take a look at those cables going vertically. If you are able to get most of your cables managed under your desk, you should only have a couple cables going down. These are some of the most visible ones, especially if you have a standing desk. I suggest using products to bundle these cables together. The first benefit of bundling cables is that it will be a cleaner looking solution. The other benefit is that by keeping these cables bundled, they will stay as one controlled unit, and they're less prone to getting caught on part of your setup. Again, this is especially important for a standing desk. A simple cable sleeve works great if you only have a couple cables. I recommend the AlexTech sleeves on Amazon. They come in multiple sizes and colors. My only caution here is to make sure to buy a big enough sleeve for everything to fit inside. If you are running an Ethernet cable or another type of data cable down from your desk, I recommend using a cable snake. These more rigid style cable managers will allow data and power cables to be separated from each other. I'll admit I am no expert in this area, but I've learned from all of you in the comments and from subsequent research that power cables being run next to data cables can cause interference. After your computer, the next main routing point for all of your cables is your power source. I suggest attaching a power strip under your desk or fitting it into a cable tray or box. Again, this allows for the maximum amount of cables to be attached to the bottom of your work surface, rather than routing them down to the floor. Many power strips come with holes to make drilling them into your work surface easy. If you cannot drill into your desk, you can use double-sided adhesive. I always recommend using a power strip that will have enough outlets for everything on your setup, plus a couple extras. If your current power source doesn't fit this criteria, now is the time to upgrade. The next important thing to look at in a power strip is the distance between the outlets. I've put together tons of desk setups, and this is always one of the greatest stress points. Many electronics have large power bricks or force you to plug them in a certain direction. So having that extra space will prevent you from needing multiple strips or using some kind of extension cord to make them fit. Another suggestion I'm often given on my videos is to use a UPS, or uninterrupted power supply. If you feel you need backup power or might be afraid of inconsistent voltage damaging your equipment, this is something you should definitely look into. How you use your setup will determine if you need any flexibility with your cable management. Having a flexible setup will be important for anyone who takes their devices away from their desk to work in other locations, or anyone who is constantly making changes around their setup. Now, if this sounds like you, look for cable management products that will make it easy to access and grab out your cables. A flexible setup might have a little more on top of the desk for easy access and less cords directly attached to the desk. The most important thing that you will likely need to take along with you will be your laptop charger. Personally, I think the investment in an extra charger is well worth it, allowing one charger to always remain in the setup. If you always keep your devices at your desk, then you have the option to really lock your cables down tight. There are some cable products I would only consider for this type of situation because they are more permanent options. For example, using a server tray can be a very tidy way to manage your cables, but I wouldn't want to be going in and out of the tray very often. These more permanent solutions can give you a super clean, tight, and minimalist look.